articulate. So we think about, oh, this is just kids play. No. If you're teaching children who their language is, or even adults who their language is not originally English, they're going to strive with some of these sounds. So even children who are coming to you, maybe they transfer to you in the 12th grade, and this is their very first experience with English. You're going to stay right here in this area teaching them those sounds. If you know where the breakdown is, you find the breakdown and you give them opportunities to practice it the correct way. You're modeling. Take out those mirrors. Don't be afraid to look silly during a lesson. When we get to middle school and high school especially, we shy away from that. But what about those kids who really need it? Getting them to really practice those sounds, because if you don't, who will? Vowel sound, any one of them. And I want you to teach it to a partner. You're like, oh, don't make me do this. Of course. Because if we're going to transfer this practice to the children, then we have to make sure that we own the knowledge first. So pick one off your paper that you really feel confident with. And then I'm going to allow you to teach a partner how that sound goes. Think about what the mouth is doing, where the throat, like is it voice, unvoiced? Here we go. So use your phone in selfie mode. If you want to use, I have one mirror that I brought today. If you want to use that, you can. And the person that you're actually teaching, I want them to actually do what you're doing. You are the model for them, okay? Ready? And teach.
Surprise.
The next one is dog. Push the sounds in dog. G, right? What about this next one? Plane. What are you saying? I heard somebody else say something different. What do you say? Yeah, you have to tease out that sound, because with blends, each one of those phonemes stands on their own. Let's do the word, because we're adults, let's do the word most. Ready? Most. First of all, we're going to tap the sounds in most. Now, I'm going to actually use my arm right here because my children needed those multisensory strategies. So I'm going to actually have them do arm tapping for the word most. Ready? Go. O, yeah. So how many sounds do you hear now? There are 4 in there. Now let's push the sounds with our finger. Ready? Go. O, right? So how many sounds did you map out? 4 sounds. Now let's do the zapping. Ready? Wave it across. Most. Now I actually have them to say the word as they're actually doing it, right? Even middle schoolers will like this. So the beauty of this is that they can actually, as they do this, so if they're doing 10, as they do this, they can actually look to count and see how many phonemes there are there, just to check themselves. That's the beauty of having the magnets pick it up, right? Is I give them playtime. Why? Because they're gonna play anyway. So you give them the time to play and explore. And then what I do is I have a routine for this. I always have my counters in the bag already, along with, you know, every child will have their own bag. I'm not gonna ask them to go ahead and get 5 out of there. I'm gonna go ahead and give them their pre-portioned bag along with the one that goes in their materials. And I'm gonna have that graphing chart all the week already out, right? So I'm gonna give them a few minutes to play with them, and then when I say hands off, they take their hands off. They know that their one will go in their non-writing hand. Why? Because they're gonna actually push the chips with their writing hand. And I say, put it in your non-writing hand instead of saying your writing hand, because some children are what? Left-handed. Because that's, the writing hand is what you're gonna use to actually push the chips. Ready? And so that means one in your non-writing hand. Your counters are pushed to the starting position, which for me, I train my children to line them all up because they don't know how many phonemes are going to be in that word, and then they're ready to push with their writing hand. All right? So you always start at your starting position. Now, it takes me about a couple of weeks to really train them, and I train them in small group so that I can actually see if they're doing it correctly. Why would this be important for math instructors? Academic vocabulary, and
our lives. Yeah.
they're having to explain their answers.
Yeah.
So if they're having to explain their answers, they're writing it out. So if they're writing out their explanation, they're going to have to know how to spell these words, these sounds, making sure that they include these sounds in their explanation. So again, it's not a we versus them, it's us. We all teach reading. So we all are stakeholders in helping our children attain these skills so that they can use them proficiently. And we don't get stuck on just the sounds. We go to the letters as soon as they're ready to do that. So if we're doing the tap it, map it, graph it, and the word is champ, first we'll tap it, and then we map it. Right? And then as soon as they're ready, we go into graphing. And what do? We actually move the counters out of the way, and we replace it with the letter or letter combinations that produce that phoneme. Types of activities that you're doing. Again, you go from the simple to the more complex.